All right, we're here, we're live. Happy Wonder Wednesday, everyone. I hope this video is finding you well, whether you're watching it now or in the future. Today, I will be a little bit more shining than usual, just because I'm here in my hometown in Sicily and it's really, really hot. So today, guest speaker will be Benedykt Celiński. He's originally from Poland, even though he now lives in Dublin. And he's a great Webflow developer and UX UI designer. On top of having a general conversation about his journey, we will also be talking about this no-code tool called Tango, which literally says and states on its website a free browser extension that generates beautiful step-by-step guides while you work. And I think this is going to be super helpful for us as designers and developers to just document our work and even create as the website says, step-by-step tutorials for our clients. So I'm going to post the link here in the chat. So if you want to check it out, feel free to www.tango.us. And without further ado, I'm going to log on to our GatherTown office and join the girls. Right. Let's have a look. I should already be in. For those of you who don't know, we're Floxies Community, an international community for women in UX UI design and Webflow development. And it's my passion to empower as many women as possible to make their dreams come true and to just give them the tools to reach their goals. And this is what we're doing. We're quite new. We only started a year ago and we've gone over 1,000 members already. So it's super exciting and it's such a supportive, safe environment for everyone. And it just makes me happy to be here every Wednesday. So let's go into our GatherTown. Gather is where we built our virtual office, and that's where we meet every Wednesday for these events. Hey, UX Vocal Club, Ben is already there. Fantastic, I am coming. All right. Here we go. That's me. Let's go into our main building. Welcome, Floxies. Perfect. I don't see Ben. Hey, girls. Oh, Ben is here. Hello. Hi, everyone. I think Abby is sitting on Ben. Abby, are you sitting on Ben? I was like, I can't see him anymore. Cheeky. Awesome. Well, Ben, I was just giving a quick introduction on YouTube about you. Great Webflow developer and UX UI designer, originally from Poland and now living in Dublin. And I was just telling everyone that we're going to have a quick tour on this fantastic tool that you were so excited to tell me about on LinkedIn. He was like, hey, Claudia, have you seen Tango? Look, and he sent me like a small video just showing the tool. And I was like, Ben, this is a great tool and great material for a chat. Why don't you come and show it at Floxies? And here we are today for that specific purpose. And after Ben's kind of walk through this tool, we can have a general chat with him about maybe his journey, or if you've got any Webflow related questions as well, or anything. He's a lovely human being. He's always been so supportive and like always available, and he's such a good friend as well. So Ben, thank you so much for being here. For sure.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. We were like discussing how we can do this for like a long while. So I'm happy to finally be here. So what I have in mind with showing you Tango is basically like just a quick demo or two quick demos just to kind of show you what that tool is. Why was I harassing people on LinkedIn with Loom videos saying how wonderful this is? And then like we can move on to chatting about anything related with like design, Webflow, client communication, transitioning from like non-IT related field to IT, or your portfolios, whatever that is. I'm all here for you today.
All you can ask instead of all you can eat. Ben is a all you can ask kind of person.
That's true. Okay, so I'll be sharing my screen, and I hope that their extension works, because if it doesn't work, we'll be screwed.
I mean, if it doesn't work, it will be perfectly, you know, our style. Whenever we have a speaker, something doesn't work, and we just haven't found like a background music yet for those kind of moments, but we're working on that.
Yeah, you should have like, you know, like meditation music in the background or something like that.
Yeah, I got my phone. I might use that. All right.
Okay, cool. So the general idea behind tango, instead of Southern American dance. So the general idea is that tango is basically a documentation tool, and it's sort of like it takes away all of those like little tedious things we do whenever we want to do a step-by-step walkthrough or a written tutorial, or you know, things like that. So I used to be a lawyer before IT, so I have a bad relationship with documents and with creating, you know, written stuff. So when I discovered this tool, I was like super excited. And now, enough me talking, let's just show you how the tool works. Basically, it's for creating, again, like short walkthroughs, how-tos, step-by-step tutorials, you know, anything where like clients or, you know, other people just like ask you to show something quickly, or show some process. This is perfect. So just to give you an example, they have the desktop app, they have the browser extensions. So the way it works is when you want to show something, it's kind of similar to Loom, because you just hit the extension, you start the session, then it works in the background, and then the magic happens. So let's start with a super simple example. Let's say that, you know, you have some projects in Webflow, and your client is like, oh, how do I, you know, because you don't, like, let's say it's the client space, you don't control the admin, you don't control the money, is the admin space, and you have a project where you need to upgrade the plan to CMS or to business plan or whatever, and your client is like, okay, like what do I need to click, where is it, I cannot find it, whatever that is. So then you can start capturing your workflow on Tango, and it's like literally it's that simple. So so it has started, and now you see these orange little things whenever you hover over something. Mm-hmm. And basically Tango will measure your clicks, and based on those clicks, it will generate step-by-step walkthrough. So it's like, it's genius in the simplicity, because like right now, okay, I know that I have to like click hosting, and then just, you know, it's like literally 3 or 4 clicks. So I'm going to click here, then I'm going to click here, and then like I would click here, but maybe not now. So okay, so you know, like, so again, super simple example, then and then the magic happens. So what it did, it's generated a step-by-step walkthrough with zoomed and highlighted click areas on like what would your client like need to click on, and then you have, you know, you have your steps, you have your ready to go screenshots, and then like all you have to do basically, if you have like additional clicks, or if you have something that's, you know, requires extra context, you just like you change the names of the steps. You maybe add some descriptions, you may add links, you may blur things out if something is sensitive for whatever reason. You can blur it just like that. You can crop it, you can annotate, you can add arrows, you can do many things. But the point is like how insanely quick this was. I didn't have to just like go and do docs, or it's even faster than Notion, I would say, for like short walkthroughs. So basically this is just like ready to go. You can share a link, you can like create a whole folders for it, and sort of have like a comprehensive guides or document, like the whole documentation around things if needed. So again, like this is good for basically like anybody collaborating frequently with teams, anybody who organizes teamwork, organizes like internal documentation within companies. But it can be also useful for just like client walkthroughs or for troubleshooting client questions. um, I'm looking at it as well as a Loom alternative because I talk a lot and I usually talk slowly, so I can always turn a 5-minute Loom into 20-minute Loom, and then people won't be too keen on like watching 20 minutes of me talking. So far, to overcome it, I used to put warnings. Like anytime I used to send Loom, I would put a warning saying like speed me up 1.5x. So
Warning, this video might contain 20 minutes of me talking.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. So sometimes it does the trick, but the point is that sometimes making something like this for me is quicker than just like me rambling for 20 minutes. So this was like the super basic example. Now the example that may be more sort of maybe useful in projects. So I think the editor is like the perfect opportunity for using this tool, because like anytime you hand over a website, I basically just to share, I did a copy of my portfolio just for like for today's purposes. So basically anytime you hand over the website to the new client, or to a client that's new to Webflow, um, you have the job to walk them through the editor, and of course you can do it on a call. But again, like calls are like you'll have an hour long or 2 hour long meetings, and then everything is clear, and 2 weeks ago you forget like 80% of it. So it's good to have some references, and for that Tango as well I think would be perfect, because for example we may have the walkthrough on for example like how to control which posts are displayed on the homepage, like as featured. So let's say I have like 20 blog posts. Don't have that many yet, but maybe in the future. And you need to talk to your client and to get them to understand how these blog posts could be featured. So basically, again, like all you need to do is Tango, capture workflow, and then you go to your collections, you go to your blog posts, you go to the blog posts you want to feature, you find your switch, which is somewhere here, You save, you wait, you publish. Okay.
It's not showing the orange highlighted thing. Is that?
It should. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's the editor on top of it. Like
Okay,
it's
yeah.
yeah, so it's showing here on the website, but it's not showing here. So something Webflow related probably. Okay.
I love the confetti.
Yeah, me too. And basically, like there you go. Even sometimes the titles are correct. That I would name this step "Click on blog post 2," or "Click on collections." And again, like if you feel like adding any additional context, like it just like for example, they may not know that the panel is at the very bottom because sometimes it's confusing. You may add it as a description here. Sometimes I would say that if you're doing a walkthrough, it may generate more steps than you actually need. So in that case, you can just like super quickly, delete the step, and it basically like should update. I don't know why it's not showing number 7 now because it used to. But let's pretend we didn't see it. So again, for such walkthroughs, very useful tool. Beware of using this tool for anything that requires many clicks, because I was actually testing out the idea of like putting a little Webflow tutorial out of it, like Webflow. And I was thinking of, for example, like tutorial on the text animation here, like the heading animation. And it turned out that when I started Tango in the background and I wanted to like cover the whole process, it went over 100 clicks.
Oh, wow.
So it would generate like over 100 steps. And it's not, like normally you don't think about those clicks, you just do it. But then it would be a nightmare to just remove the steps.
Were they actually clicks that you were doing, or was it because it was an animation and it was like recording?
No, this was the actual clicks. But
so you were doing 100 and what? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but you have to, like normally you don't think about it because you have to open this panel, you have to create a class, you have to duplicate something, and you do it quickly so you don't feel how many clicks there are actually. So yeah, for these cases I don't recommend it, but for anything quick, multi-step, or anything that just like is explainable in a few simple steps, it's perfect, and it works on top of your things. Do I not remember if on all plans, but let's say that you have to show something. For example, you have to show something in Webflow, show something in Zapier, and show something in the other tool connected with Zapier. So for Airtable, for example, these are like 3 separate tools, and Tango will do a good job because it works like on top of all. So it will generate, separate steps here. One will be Webflow, one will be Zapier, one will be Airtable here.
So you can record different tabs as well. So like,
yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Okay. So again, like for me, having like having like anger issues with creating documentation, this tool is wonderful. I think it does a clever job of working in the background. So hope you will be tempted to try it. And again, it may feel right now that, but when would I try it? So I promise you'll encounter, like if you work with clients a lot, you'll encounter that like sooner than later. Because there will be questions, there will be lots of those, like everyday things that we quickly forget about, but we still have to, explain a thing or two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think besides educational purposes, like, because obviously the first thing I thought is like, oh, we can create small tutorials, and it kind of links with Restep that Sako is building. So last week we had a great event with Sako, and he's building this amazing tool where you can just like literally follow the steps of the designer as a game. And this is kind of like a similar concept where you can see step by step the kind of guide. But besides the educational purposes, obviously to use them with a client could be the perfect case study, because as you're saying, sometimes you can go over it with a very long Loom video, and then after 20 minutes, either the client is too lazy or they don't have time, wherever, and they won't watch it. So even without watching it, they will get back to you and be like, Ben, we didn't really understand, even if they didn't watch it. So I think this is a great tool and resource to have. So it's just like quick and practical, and it's written, so it's just there. And for people like me, once again, it's super helpful, because I'm not one of those people that maybe will sit down and watch your 20 minutes video, but not because it's you, but just anything, anything that it's longer than 20 minutes, my attention span is really short, and I have to see it. Otherwise, I can sit down and read a very long documentation and then never remember what I just read. I don't know what's wrong with me, but that's how my brain works. Instead, if I see it in visual, if I see the actual thing written down or drawn, or actually with me doing the steps, then I remember, and my muscle memory is trained for that. So it works a great deal in that sense. In my case, I don't know how what people think here, but I briefly saw in the chat that everyone was really impressed with the tool. Lizzie is saying, I can already think of when I would use this. Lizzie, do you want to share? When would you use that?
Hello. I'm in a little bit of a noisy environment, sorry, but I've got a thing I need to transfer my clients onto a new, bidding platform, client bidding, all that, and yeah, it's going to be really helpful, because my clients are a little bit like, maybe a Loom video, they'll be like, what is this? Step by step, I think. Yeah, really helpful. So thank you.
Yeah, super useful. Well, thank you, Lizzie. Ben, what would you say are the limitations of this tool? What's the free plan allowance? Can you record as many tutorials and workflows as you want, or is there a limit?
Well, anything that has pricing has limits, obviously. So basically, I see that like more limits. Like most of the limits consists of whether you need like team workspace or team workflows or not. So basically, it's the question of how many people need to have like access to this tool as users, not as just somebody who receives your link, because like those links are shareable, so it's all good. But I think it's mostly for team documentation. So it's like, you wouldn't share your internal team docs with like all the internet. So then you would probably need to onboard people to have accounts there, and then the plan may change. Maybe the one specific thing I would like to point out is that the free version captures workflows in the browser, and the pro version captures workflows across desktops. So if you're on a free version and you want to capture something in Figma desktop app, for example, versus the browser version, I think it won't allow it, just because of the way they structure their pricing. But I think like for individual usage, this is like the biggest limitation. I see that they have also like up to 25 workflows per user, and I think like a workflow is just like a one step-by-step thing. Not entirely sure because I'm I'm also new to the tool, but yeah, I would say these two are like the main limitations on the free plan.
Yeah, and is there, so when you export it, you just export it as a link, or is there other ways to export your workflow?
I think there was a option to download it as a PDF. Yes, so you can download it as a PDF. You can copy the link and share. You can invite people by email. You can even live embed it. So you can embed it on the Webflow website if you fancy it. So yeah, multiple options.
Yeah,
all your
that's
usual stuff.
interesting. That's interesting. The PDF, so the PDF, would that still be showing the movements? No, because it's static, isn't it?
Probably
Yeah.
not.
I'm just
I didn't
thinking
test
ahead.
it, but
Yeah.
probably not.
Just thinking ahead, just a couple ideas on how we can use this as a community. But yeah, it's super cool. Thank you so much for sharing the tool. I see Emily's here. I feel like the three little friends have reunited. It's
Hi, Emily.
so great. Let's see. So does anyone have any questions? Emily, were you here for the walkthrough of Tango, or have you just come in?
I just got some time off of work, so I was like, oh, Ben's here. Say hi.
Have you used Tango before? Had you seen Tango before?
No, actually.
Yeah, it's very useful, isn't it?
So cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, the main case study here would be for client communication. And, we have an experienced lawyer here who's recommending it. So who better than you, Ben? So that's great. Have you actually tried it with your clients already or not yet?
I'm going to try this next week. So not yet, but I already have in mind like the whole documentation, for example, like on using the editor, because like I don't want to do this for like some things are repeatable here. So I will still like do custom walkthroughs with clients, but I want to have like one library when I can just, send it over because it's repeatable stuff. And for it, I think it would be perfect and then it also like it decreases the risk of people, coming back to you after days, after weeks, after months. Hey, Claudia, how to do this? Hey, Claudia, how to do that? And then you can just, like, okay, here are the docs. Here's the like 3-minute step-by-step. Like if you have issues, I'm happy to help. But just,
Yeah. Basically,
it
template everything.
Away. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a great
takes
idea.
away a lot of the hassle. But yeah, if you guys have like any questions or any things that are like bothering you in your career currently or something like this, like I'm happy to help share some positivity.
Yeah, that's amazing. Let's open up to the community. Girls, if you have any questions regarding either Tango, Webflow, freelancing, switching career into tech from a different background, have them come in.
Bring it on.
Bring it all out. We're here in a safe space, a very hot and sweaty one as well. But feel free to ask your questions, either, unmute yourselves or put your hands up if you prefer. Use the chat, anything. We're here for you. Welcome, Stephanie. She just joined us as well. Don't worry, we'll show you the tool after. But yeah, if anyone's got any questions, now it's your turn to ask.
I think one thing that really helped me when it came to like the whole like the logistics behind getting paid and stuff like that. I think that I started using Honeybook, and it's super easy to get paid, and I'm not going to my PO box all the time checking to see if that check is there yet. It's I think it's very, very well worth the very tiny service fee to see when they open it and see when they pay you, and it's all in line. It's beautiful. It's worth my soul.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I didn't use I didn't use this one, but again, like this goes along like the lines of templatize what you can. So it's definitely, you know, as far as like accounting, finances go, I would say like templatize everything, cover yourself as much as you can. And I'm speaking this as an ex-lawyer as well. You know, like have your proposal templates, have your contract templates, have your invoice templates, have your invoice tools. Ideally, have your accountant as well. Like I know, for example, for me, I know I could run a business like in Poland previously, now in a while in Ireland. I could do it alone, but I just like, one thing is that I know I don't enjoy it. So if I don't enjoy the admin work and I know I can outsource it to somebody, that's an investment for my time. So I'm all for it. And the other thing is that I will have better sleep knowing that I'm not fully responsible for every mistake that can be made along the way. And legal mistakes are not good mistakes to have sometimes. So, you know, like definitely always, like when you freelance, always look for ways to first protect yourself and then templatize stuff, whether it's legal, whether it's project management, whether it's client communication, the way you do your emails, your tools, your workflows. Like always have it on the back of your head.
When you're, Emily, were you done with your question? Sorry.
Yeah, I just said wise words.
Yeah, he's very wise, our Ben. When you create a contract, you know, I'm going to ask you lawyer questions. When you create a contract,
Oh dear. Yeah.
what's the best practice, you know, do you use a tool? Do you just like, as you're saying, create a template on, you know, maybe Word? How do you create a contract in a way that it's legally functional?
Okay, so that was probably the only scenario for like 3 and something years that I would say that actually my legal career helped me in something. Sorry, I'm having some weird noises here.
I don't know who's this. Don't know.
Okay,
The
let's try
aliens.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes we are visited by aliens in the space.
Okay. So so the way I did it was simple. I just like I took the Webflow Development Agreement template. I think I have it from like Peyton Clark Smith from Python Digital. He had like his template, and I know he went heavy on the legal side to protect himself from things. So I got the template, and then I just you know, remembered my law years, and then I just like edited it to my needs, basically. So, you know, if you're not comfortable with like editing agreements or legal documents because you're just, you know, you may not be sure, I would say find the template made specifically for the country you're in, because you have a lot of, dependencies based on where you're based. So an American contract would look totally different to a Polish contract, and vice versa. So I would just find a similar contract to the country you're from, ideally. If you can't get it, then just, it's still good to consult a lawyer. I think at some point I would say it's even like advisable to contact a lawyer. If you scale, if you grow.
Can we contact you?
No. I don't offer legal services anymore. Sorry. But so yeah, but one thing I would like to add, that it is important to have your contracts in place. It will protect you from something, but it's never a guarantee. Like, you can have bad projects, you can have bad clients. Something may happen, and it's not like you can have the best contract in the world. It will not protect you 100% from any bad project situations. It's impossible. So take that with a pinch of salt. Do it. It's useful, but don't expect to not encounter difficulties in the future.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I think, it's obviously a great tip to see what works in your country, because as you're saying, it's different types of laws, different types of contracts. So that makes sense. I don't think there's like a best practice in general for everything, or is there one?
I would say the best practice is to predict stuff. So, but I do it in the proposal mainly, like even before the agreement. I just, if I have a certain project coming up, and I feel after talking with client for a while, I feel like I need some sort of like insurances, or that this is the project that, due to the timeline or due to the client, I need to have like stronger requirements on, for example, feedback sessions, or feedback limits, or different types of things like that. Then just, again, it's a good practice to have it like upfront as early as possible, and have it in a way that's impossible to question in a way. So like if you write it down in a way that can't be misinterpreted. So like as plainly as possible, just be direct, be clear, obviously be polite, but it's like when you enter into the agreement, like there shouldn't be any question marks on what we are actually agreeing to. And I feel like this is the point that many people miss, either in proposals or in contract, and then you have conflicts or misunderstandings along the way. So I would say that's the general practice. Just be clear on what you're agreeing to with your client as early as possible.
Yeah, is that one of the hardest things to do as a freelancer? Because I know you were working for a company first, and then you kind of switched on to your full-on freelancer career. What are the pros and cons in that? Because I know here there's a couple of people that are either considering going freelance, or their first steps in Webflow, for example, development, and all of that.
Yeah, it's very difficult. It's very different. I wouldn't say it's very difficult. It's different. I'm not using like a typical freelancing model, so I'm not freelancing project by project all the time, but I have I have the retainer agreement in one place, and then I take on projects like on top of that retainer agreement. And this is the setup that's been working well for me, and I intend to keep it this way. But what people typically do is they do like the full-time freelance, just projects per projects, and at the start you try to be visible, you try to get as many projects as you can, and then as you go, you're hopefully in a better position to say no to more projects, to be more specific on what types of projects you want to take, and it just grows, because if you keep doing good work, if you keep sharing your work, if you keep connecting with people, over time you'll have referrals, you'll have a good visibility, you'll have a good profile. Hopefully you'll have your Webflow expert panel, and it keeps growing, right? So I would say that freelancing, like the full-time freelancing, it's hard at the beginning, like first, I don't know, maybe 2 years, 3 years, something like this. This is hard because all is on you. But then it just, like, as you have enough leverage, it just the cycle keeps repeating itself. So it's definitely easier over time. Then you, at some point in the freelancing career, you need to have a decision whether you want to stay solo or you want to either create an agency or outsource. And for me personally, again, not the popular route. I'm not interested in running my own agency, because that would ultimately mean that I would do less and less technical work, and I would do more of team building, outsourcing, recruitment, admin, sales, marketing, all that other stuff.
Yeah, people operations, yeah.
Yes, because you ultimately, if you want to grow and start a company, you outsource technical work first. So this is obviously like far in freelancing future, but I think it's good to have it in the back of your head, and think about it early. And generally, like, think about what type of person you are and what work environment do you want. Because again, like, employment is safety, freelance is risk. Freelance is high earning potential, but again, it's potential. So sometimes potential is reality, sometimes potential is potential. So employment is predictable, freelance is unpredictable. Freelance, you have to do, again, sales, marketing, admin, all of that stuff. Employment, all of these things are, they take care of it for you. So again, like, think in terms of like, what work environment do you want and what is more important for you? Because sometimes you may ask yourself, okay, is this more important for me to work on a variety of projects or on more interesting projects, or is it more important to me to actually have less variety of projects but have more predictability, peace of mind, time off, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And
Try and see what makes you happy, basically.
Yeah. And it may change. It's not like it's constant. 1 year you may want employment, another year you may want freelance, then another year you may want to go back to employment because freelance burnt you out. It keeps changing. So I would say also, like, don't expect to be don't expect one way of thinking to stay there. It keeps evolving, and it evolved for me many times as well, and I'm sure it will in future.
Yeah, because it changes according to your life circumstances as well, I guess. And it's really important to do something that you enjoy doing, because I was... so today, a controversial tweet on my side. This morning, I woke up and I was like, you know what, people these days are trying to become anything. Like, I see everyone's trying to become a founder or open up a business, a startup, and they try to fit in into all these titles, right? And sometimes you just need to try and see what makes you happy. So I just wrote down, sometimes just try and be nice, but try and be nice to yourself as well. You don't have to fit in. You don't have to compare yourself to other people, because you see all these great designers, developers, and they're like, oh, this month I'm trying to reach 100K, and I don't know, I'm not far off, and you're there sitting on your, I don't know, 1K a month, and you're thinking your life is a failure, and it shouldn't be. And there's so many people that are new to the space, and I just don't want people to be discouraged from that kind of mentality as well. You need to try and see, what do you really want to get out of your life? You don't have to fit into other people's shoes. You need to try and do what makes you happy. Like, what is it that you want? Do you want to travel? Do you want to get a coffee per day, which was my goal? How do I get there? What kind of salary do I need? Do I need 100K? Possibly not, to be happy. So, that's my 2 cents on the matter.
I'm totally the same. It's like, social media creates an impression that, everybody has to start their own business now. Everybody has to be an entrepreneur. Like, you open up social media and it's all about the
individualism.
Right? Yeah. And it just, I think for me, two things help me, because like, I don't feel that much pressure. Like, I used to feel a lot of pressure after reading all of those things. I'm not feeling that anymore. And that's mainly due to, first, realizing that it's like LinkedIn and Twitter, I don't see them as social media platforms anymore. I see them as marketing tools. And it has become easier for me to, to see these posts differently, because I don't see them as, just like people hanging out and sharing their thoughts.
Yeah.
I see this as a like marketing strategy of sharing what you want to share in the context you want other people to see. So it's a different thing. And the second thing that helped me was installing social media blocking software. Absolutely recommend it to everybody. Maybe actually that should be the topic of our hangout. But yeah, absolutely recommend it. And now I have just 1.5 hour block per day when I can open my social media. All the other hours, it's blocked. Like, even if I try, like typing it, again, like, it works on top, and it will just like give me the huge green screen with a butterfly saying something like "chill out" or whatever. So yeah, highly recommended. Very good.
Yeah, I don't know if I can use that. I mean, if I literally, my phone's been buzzing. Like, I can't even show you on my phone, but if I keep scrolling, where's my camera? Like, these are all notifications, like, from different.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, and that's my life.
Don't you feel pressure after seeing this?
I don't, because I'm always myself, and that's how I roll, and people here know me. whenever I present myself professionally and as a person, this is what you get.
Okay, this is good. If it's you, it works.
Yeah, I think so. Just like what you were saying, you can see the reasons behind somebody's tweet or post. You can see the intentions behind it. So I don't let that overwhelm me. I don't let that squash me, because I know what they're trying to do. I know what they're trying to reach. And it doesn't affect me because it's not my world, it's not my way of doing things. So I try, that's my kind of way to survive this social media war. Casey Cat says, drop the software ban.
Okay. Sure.
Mirella says, I need to learn some marketing instead of sharing my thoughts or learnings. No, Mirella, you're doing a great job. Don't change yourself, please. Don't become a robot. Aida says, I rarely share my thoughts. That's true, Aida. You're very cryptic. I want to hear your thoughts a bit more. Yeah, but everyone is saying thank you. A couple of people are dropping off because the time is nearly up. So if anyone here has got anything to say, maybe you want to ask one more question or just say hello to Ben, this is your time to do that. And if not, we can soon wrap it up. Music in the background again. I can hear some crickets. Somebody's got their mic on. Is it Emily? Emily, go on.
Oh, I was thinking about adding this before and the conversation totally moved somewhere else. I just got an American contract specifically for web development and web designers, and there were 3 things that were really helpful, and so I'm gonna tell you for free. The 3 things that were really interesting to me was one, if your client has something that they didn't pay for, like an asset or something that's not royalty free, you could get in trouble as an American for using it, even though your client gave it to you, telling that it's fine to use. So just putting that in your contract to say like, hey, if they give me something they don't have rights to, it's not my fault. The other thing was making it really clear that things are non-refundable, because I know that happened to Joe Krug and he had to refund one of his clients because they were unhappy, which is something that's totally subjective, and people can just be unhappy if they don't have the money to pay you. And then the third thing told me was if you get like if you break up your project into like content, design, and development, the way that you phrase your contract is saying that like in order to unlock this stage of the project, you have to pay upfront for this whole stage of the project. So they don't have to pay for the whole project upfront. But for each stage, it unlocks it so that you're not doing work and then not getting paid. So those were the 3 important things from my American contract, and Americans are awful sometimes.
Your American dream. From your American dream. That's really great tips, Emily. Thank you so much for sharing. I think, having milestones is really important, and definitely the refund. I can see how somebody can be really unhappy when they don't have the budget. Are you saying that, oh, sorry, I'm really unhappy with the $5,000 you're asking me for. I need a refund. Yeah, really good tips.
Yeah, these are good tips.
Yeah, let's see. There's somebody in the chat. Can you share the template you found, Emily? Says Imani.
Oh, I got it made for me for a lawyer. It's really, really long, but if you reach out to me, here, I'll give you my email.
I'll cover
Just
the
email
chat.
me and then-
Yeah, I'll cover the chat so that people don't see your email.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, those 3 people that are watching us on YouTube right now. Hi, 3 people. So yeah, anyone else? Let's see. I know that Stephanie, for example, I'm going to put you on the spot because Stephanie is learning Webflow, and she's, so passionate, and she's trying her best to like trying and improving every day. And so is Aida, I know here. Have you got any tips for Webflow beginners? Or Stephanie, if you have any questions you want to ask about Webflow, feel free. We have a couple minutes left.
Well, hi Ben. Well, I don't have questions. I'm just, as Claudia said, like I'm improving like my skills there, and I'm trying to do my best. You know, like to learn is like it's really like hard, like to have like understand like everything, like all the platform in one step. So I'm taking like my time and kind of stop like looking at other people in social media, because it's like I can compare myself with others because every process for everyone is different. So I'm doing my best. I'm taking my time because I really want to understand how to use the tool well. And yeah, that's my thought of today, and that's how I feel now.
Cool. Okay, yeah. So I would say take this step by step. It's Webflow is not easy to learn. Like apart from people saying, "Oh, you can, you know, you have templates, you can just like create a website quickly," or yes, you can, but you know, like if you want to learn Webflow properly, it's not easy. And again, like take this step by step. I would say step one would be to understand the HTML and CSS, because what Webflow is essentially an HTML and CSS editor. It's not the drag and drop whatever tool. It's not that. Like they may show you this in, you know, like ads or things like that, but it just you manipulate HTML and CSS. So the better you know what you manipulate, the better you'll get at Webflow instantly. So this is step one. When you get solid basics of step one, then it's a good way to properly understand Webflow interface, including CMS panel and interaction panel, because those two are sometimes confusing. But again, like I wouldn't try to super understand Webflow before understanding like HTML and CSS. It's definitely easier if you understand HTML and CSS at least good or intermediate before like investing heavily in understanding Webflow. And then the ways to learn Webflow well, I would say, is obviously if you can have client projects, because that's always the best way to learn. The second best way, I would say, is to recreate other websites. Start with simple websites and then increase the difficulty level as you go. So you may start with just normal static websites, simple layouts, no animations, no CMS, nothing fancy. Then find a website that is more advanced or has just, you know, something you don't know how to do, some weird layout, some animation, some CMS, some type of weirdo slider thing or whatever that may be. And just if you have the time, keep repeating it. I learned the most out of recreating websites. Like that was the way to learn Webflow properly for me. And the final thing is clonables. Clonables are also a good way because you can, you know, you can see how other people are building and you can sort of, you know, play around, break things, and kind of, you know, get to the bottom of how it's built. But I would still say that rebuilding other websites teaches you more than inspecting clonables. Yeah. And then from that point, first keep repeating and then dive into Webflow frameworks. So things like Client First or Knockout or Refocus Style Guide. There are many Webflow frameworks out there. They keep coming. But essentially look for cleaner ways build your websites once you're comfortable with Webflow. But again, like, don't try to just throw everything at yourself at one time, because it's a lot to take. So take this step by step.
Really great tips. Stephanie, I shared a quick intro to HTML and CSS offered by Webflow University. It's in the chat, so it's free. If you wanna, you can use that.
In which chat? I don't.
So if you click on chat and nearby, you'll see it. There's a link.
Oh yes. Okay. Okay. Great.
Perfect.
Thank you, Ben, for your tips, and Claudia for introducing me to this
Of
process.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You can totally DM me, Stephanie, like along the way if you have some questions or tips or need resources. I'm happy to help.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
The beauty of community and the beauty of community people. And with that kindness overall, Ben, thank you so much for being here. I know it was long overdue. We've been having this conversation for a year now.
Yeah.
Like, what can you come to talk about Floxies? But there's so many topics you can come and talk here about. And so, if you want to come back again, you're, our guest, you're our friend. The doors are open. So just let me know.
Thank you, Emma. I'm glad we met finally as well. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, girls, thank you so much to you all for being here. And I'm not sure next Wednesday. I think maybe Picha will come back with a talk on color theory, but she has to confirm tomorrow. So I'll keep you posted in our Discord. And Ben, if you want to hang around, I know that some people here have got some private questions. Private troubleshooting for you.
Sure.
I'm just gonna drop the stream and I'll come back to Gathertown. See you in a minute. And okay, thank you very much. You two people, I will probably see you next week, and if not, the week after for our Wonder Wednesdays events at Floxies. Have a lovely day, evening, night, wherever it is. Take care.